talk to you about a movie. Oh, sorry. Hey! No, I want to talk to you about a movie. The Hitcher, not the remake, the 1986, directed by Robert Harmon. Now, with Rutger Hauer as John Ryder, C. Thomas Howell as Jim Halsey, Jennifer Jason Lee, young Jennifer Jason Lee as Nash, and young Jeffrey DeMunn as Police Captain Estridge. Now, this movie isn't talked nearly enough, and this is a masterpiece, a complete masterpiece. Is it a horror movie? Well, I'm gonna say the first half of the movie, yes. In my opinion, there are horrific scenes in there. The second part and the third part is action, more action and thrill ride, and you've got the first part, which is more horrifying shit going on. The second part is action, police cars chasing, things like that. And the third part is the last showdown, basically, the last stand. So the movie starts right away with Rutger Hauer, John Ryder hitching for a car, and Jim Halsey is bringing this car from A to. He has to go from A to Z, and it's like a courier company that brings cars from the rental cars, I guess. And he steps in and he's watching at him. You got a cigarette? No, he says, no, I don't smoke. It's bad weather there, right? Yeah, yeah. Because Rutger Hauer didn't get a lot of things to say. He's like, I just got another ride from somebody. Oh yeah, how did it go? I killed him. And then Jim says, what? I killed him. I cut his throat. And then, he says, okay, I think you should get the hell out. And he takes a knife, and how would it be that a human eyeball, what would happen if I just stick my knife into it? Would it explode? And this guy is standing there with the knife. I mean, the tension in that car alone. And then a police check is there, and even there, the guy, John Ryder, is taking him between his legs, and they're like, okay, lovebirds, you go, like they're gay maybe. They want to have sex. I mean, it's such a great scene. It's so creepy, so creepy. And eventually, he kicks John Ryder out because he says, "Do you want to die? Say it." And he says, "I don't want to die." And he punches John Ryder out of the car, and Ryder sees him going away and laughs. And that moment, he says, "This is the guy." Now, there are a lot of backstories behind him. There's this backstory that he basically wants to make Jim Halsey into a man, and that he's the one who has to kill him. He wants to die. He doesn't care. John Ryder wants to die. He doesn't care about anything. He wants to die. but he sees in Jim Halsey that he's the guy who's gonna press the trigger, right? You also got the other theory that he just wants to make this guy a living hell, what he also does, but there are moments where he saves him. So to stay alive, and I mean, there's even a moment when he's with Jennifer Jason Lee Nash in a motel, and he's in the room, and he's laying next to Nash, and Jim is showering, and he could have killed her and just killed Jim Halsey at the same time. No, he didn't. He took Nash, but he didn't kill him. So, like I said, and then like I said, at some point, you got, and what I thought was horrifying. That's the first part is, you've got a car driving next to Jim's car when he's happy, and he threw John Ryder away, and then he sees a little child with a plush animal, and then when the plush animal goes away, John Ryder's face is there, and and then he's honking and honking at them. No, no, stop, stop. It doesn't work. Eventually, he almost hits a truck. Eventually, he finds the station wagon, and you see the kid's his hand hanging out of the car full of blood. That's a fucked up scene, and he's puking at the same time. I would be puking at too. Then that's one, and then eventually one thing happens to another, and he is taken to the local sheriff station. Like only three guys work there, and he lost his wallet. I think John Ryder probably got in his car and took his wallet. Now the thing is, he says call the agency for the car that they don't answer. Then call my brother. He knows I'm don't answer. And eventually they put him in jail. They're gonna call the state troopers to bring him to Captain Estridge, Jeffrey DeMunn, which is a bigger police station, and he can stay longer and be interrogated better, but because this is a very small police station, only three guys are working there. And I think the sheriff, he's like, I don't believe it. I don't believe he killed those three people. He doesn't look like a killer. And that's what he said. So it was like, he doesn't look the type. So at some point the door's opening. The door of his cell is open. He finds the sheriff. His throat's cut, and his throat has been cut, and a dog is eating at the throat. That was an early scene. And then you see the other two guys being shot. One in the head, one in the I think two in the head, or just being shot. Like I said, he takes one of the guns, and then there's this scene in that's what I mean with horrific moments. Then there's this nail biting scene where he's in a diner, and John Ryder just comes and sits in front of him, and he goes like with the gun, and he's laughing, and I think he just says really calm, "How are you?" He takes 2 pennies, licks on those pennies, puts them on his eyes, gives him a present, and goes away. He takes takes the coins of his eyes, and the bullets are in a clothes like sack. He took apparently all the bullets out. He knew that he probably would take a revolver of one of the deputies, and he just took all the bullets out of that. And since then, it's a fucking, he's constantly making his life a living hell. Every time he's taken by the police, then something happens and they believe him, but then John Ryder comes and kills those cops, and he's blamed for it again. And then you have cop cars just riding at that moment. He's in a restaurant, and Nash, they take him in, and because they're really angry and they're really hard on him because a few of his buddies were killed. And then Nash takes a gun, picks up the gun of that Jim lost, and says, fires in the air and says, "Put those guns down, you two." And they know her, and says, "I don't care, just go, put the guns down, and go and lie on the ground." They lie on the ground, they go in the car. Eventually all these police cruisers are following them, and a helicopter is following them, and the police cruisers are firing with shotguns, and the helicopter pilot is firing with an M16. They're basically gonna die. They can't do jack shit, and they can't fire because when they fire, they are basically admitting they're bad. So and the police is like, "We're not gonna take him. We want to kill him." Yeah, they're really angry because they lost a lot of their dear colleagues, right? So at that moment, there's a pickup truck coming from the hills. John Ryder shoots the helicopter pilot. I have to say, he has a cigarette right here, just holding it like here. Shoots the helicopter pilot in his head. Helicopter goes down. Then he shoots at the tire, and the tire and the front hood of the first police car firing, that eventually capsizes, and the other car behind him crashes in that too. Boom, big explosion, those are all dead. So he's keeping him alive. He's basically keeping him alive till a moment happens, like I said, in the motel. Nash apparently called her dad, and apparently the guy, they know the guy where Nash is with is now on the television set for, solved for murder, basically. And they call the police, of course, and eventually he's getting out. He's getting out of the shower. He doesn't see Nash. He's coming out, and police people from the police are like, I'm going, no, please, I don't do this. And yeah, I know, we know. And then you have the captain. The first time he sees the captain, "We know, son, but the problem is you need to talk to him. He only wants to talk to you. Why?" And then you see Nash being, roped with her feet to another truck and roped with her hands to his truck, so you can get a picture of it, right? So he's going the truck, and where Ryder is, and he's saying, "Do you got a gun?" And he says, he just says, "Do you got a gun?" "Yeah." "Okay, kill me." He says, "No, I'm not gonna do that. Kill me, or I take the girl. If I kill you," he says, "you're gonna step on the gas. This is how disappointing. And eventually he punches the gas, and you hear the girl screaming a screech that you can. In the remake, you see that in Jim Halsey in the remake. Now it's basically there with in the remake he's with his girlfriend. So Jim Halsey in the remake, in this one is Nash. He tears up in two pieces, and eventually they of course catch John Ryder, and it's there's a moment even that they let Jim Halsey see John Ryder, and he spits in his face, and he's like rubbing the spit on his face. It's like I said, it's almost like a guy who came home from work, and he found out that his wife is cheating on her and with another guy, and she finds her in bed with the guy, kills the guy, kills the wife, maybe kills the kids, and then goes on a tour of killing until he finds somebody who can kill him. That's my personal opinion. He just, yeah, and left everything behind, his passport, everything. And this guy is like a Terminator, because they put him in a prison bus. There are four guys in there, I think four guys with riot guns and M16s at some point, and he's cuffed. And at some point, Jim Halsey is driven back by Captain Estridge. He takes his gun from Estridge and he says, get out of the car. You're gonna do something stupid, son. You're gonna do something stupid now. I know what I'm gonna do. Get out of the car. Okay, he gets out of the car, drives around, goes back to the prison bus, and of course he was right. Here is bang, bang, bang. Apparently, how the fuck he did that? Just got out of the cuffs, killed two guys, and then two guys behind the grid with an M16 and a driver. The two guys were playing cards, but first he killed one with, had to kill one with his bare hands maybe, or use the cuff as something to rip the guy's throat out or something, I don't know. Eventually he opens the back door and he sees Halsey coming at him, and he does something fucked up. He jumps from the back of the prison truck, and he falls through the front window of Halsey. Halsey's like, ah! And he's like, hello there. He steps on the brakes and he falls, rolling. He rolls, away, and eventually, what happens is he starts shooting at the. He gets back up again, and Halsey he's like, okay, seeing, and he's starting to shoot the car with the riot gun, but these riot guns are powerful. Things are getting off. Eventually, he gives gas and hits him again. He falls away again. Not yet. So, okay, he takes a riot gun and does something really weird. He's almost, with the barrel, he's stroking his hair to see if he's still alive, but he does it like a gentle way. And then he goes away, and Ryder gets up and, hey, you, shoot me. And then he does, and he kills him, and he gives him what he wants, 3 or 4 bullets in his body. But there are a lot of people who, a lot of people who say that there's also a sexual undertone between these two, like the spit that he's covering, and then with the barrel caressing his hair, and I don't know, man, and always saving him, because at the moment there, when he is basically somebody wants to hear him out, not saying he's guilty, but he wants to hear him out, Ryder kills the people that hurt the fact that that the it was in contact with Captain Estridge. He kills the cops that were there, and okay, yet again he's found guilty, and then of course all the other cops following him. The other the Ryder kills a helicopter pilot and two police cruisers. He's like, yeah, the Terminator, the human form of the Terminator. He doesn't say a lot, but his acting, the mannerisms of his face and his smiles, and then with that, like I said, with the the cigarette in his mouth, hanging on his lips while shooting. I mean, that's it's cool, you know. It's the way he's seeing at you, and he has these blank eyes, and fuck, when he's in the beginning in the car, that's the most tense scene that begins in a movie that I ever saw. That he just is caressing his face with a knife and is thinking to himself out loud, what would happen if I just stick the knife in your eye? Will it explode? I'm like, fuck that. He's so fuck. Then he says, you wanna die? And I mean, come on, I would piss my pants if that happens. But yeah, it's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's not maybe a horror movie. There are horrific moments in the first half, at least. The second half is more action thriller, and the last action part, the last part is basically the last stand, where Nash gets torn apart and he escapes from the prison bus, and Halsey and Ryder go go toe to head, right? And that's basically the movie. It's a great movie. That's why I wanted to. I always get the chills from Rutger Hauer. Rutger Hauer, by the way, a little fact. I'm from Belgium. Rutger Hauer he lives. He's from a country that's next to me, the Netherlands. Also, I think in America you say Famke Janssens. Famke Janssens is also from the same country. Apparently, you got a lot of good actors from the Netherlands, but it's just Rutger Hauer plays it so cool. Even that he doesn't have a lot of lines, he plays it so cool, keeping his cool and just staying calm. But you see in his eyes that he wants to fucking rip you apart. But for some reason, he has something towards Jim Halsey. And I think, yeah, you can even say there is somebody said a homosexual relation also, but it's not enough. It's going too far. I think he just found a guy that he was killing people on the road before he picked him up. So, I mean, he just found his match, and that's what I think. And he wanted to die. And I think my personal think is he had he came home, cheating wife or something, lost his job, and just fucked up crazy and killed them all, and then just went on a, a hitchhiking game and just kills them next hitchhiking game. You know what I mean? And then he finds something, you can see it on his face when he's laughing in the rain, and such a great movie. Thomas Howell is really good. Jeffrey Jason Lee, I think it's her first role, is really good as a young Nash. And Jeffrey DeMunn, also a younger Jeffrey DeMunn, is Captain Estridge. Is doing a good enough job as being a Southern cop, playing the Southern cop. Just listen to me, boy. I mean, yeah, great movie. I gave it a let's say a 9 out of 10. Okay, um, a 9 out of 10, maybe a 10 out of 10. Is there something that bothered me? No, actually, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 because there's nothing that bothered me. He couldn't do anything. Everything was great in this movie. Everything was great in this movie. Everything came together in this movie. So a 10 out of 10. Watch The Hitcher, not the remake because that's a shit show, and this is a great show. So watch it. See you later.